Hello everybody, welcome back to Wappelville, and I guess welcome back to ancient Egypt, or I don't know how ancient it really is, but we are doing another Clay Cyanide figure. It's a 3D print here. What's interesting is a lot of theirs have, well, not just some scenery, but a nice little base right here. You got your kitty statue there, you have the Basti right here. At least that's what I'm going to be referring to it as, and I think we'll maybe stick with the white on the clothes here. Even though on that reference over there, gosh, that is one of the old War Gods of Egyptus figures. I was tempted maybe to do something like that, but we got some fiery glow here. Maybe not quite as intense as this torch is gonna was, because we got a couple of glowy skulls. Those are from Green Stuff World right there. I know I printed out a bunch of skulls. I've got to actually print out a ton more, and then we can maybe do our own flames on those, as we got Valfera in the house. How you doing, Valfera? So yeah, I was desperately trying to film a video. I only got as far as the color chart, but Valfera, check this out. This is kind of interesting. Look at this here. So this is with all the radiants, all 6 of the radiants, and then of course white over here is sort of a control for the experiment, right? It's all Fanchon red, and then we've got all the radiants that we mixed here. And that's part of a video that I'm working on. Well, we're gonna just have to film the rest of it later tonight. So Valfera, I saw, and we're gonna be using tonight, of course, our fluorescent pigments right here. That's what's sitting over here on the palette. That looks like a giant fluorescent blood splatter right there. Yeah, that's one of our fluorescent paints. We'll just quickly go over here, if we can, without dropping every single brush that I have. What's over here? It's kind of a little bit of a mess. We got our opaques over here of white, brilliant yellow pale, radiant lemon. We got a Terra Rosa there, a Fanchon red there. We got, actually I don't have my radiant blue sitting out there. If we really need it, we'll throw it out there, but we got the radiant violet sitting over there. You got your indigo, you got your black spinel, you got your Van Dyke brown. These are our 2 fluorescents here. We got Indian yellow here. The radiant green, that's just left over from a couple days ago. Little pearline black, not sure how much we'll need of that. Yeah, that's good. Glad you had a chance to see that. So again, we're just slapping in some of our darker stuff here. Let's get to some of our sponges now. Here we go. Oops, did I just, hopefully I didn't snap off any fingers right there. Actually, Megan, you'll have to let me know what setting that is. I'm not sure which setting. Of course, I probably just said something and completely forgot what I just said because, you know, I probably just did say something and then just forgot completely. You know, we're just wiping some of this away. Then we're gonna start putting some of our fiery. Oh. Now, actually, Megan, unfortunately, I tried to change that. It wouldn't let me. Because they don't have that relationship with PayPal anymore. Yeah, because I tried. It looked like it said, you know, where you could change the way that is, but unfortunately, it wouldn't let me. It's irritating because in the old days, which was not like 10 years ago, but just a year or so ago, you just, it came PayPal and it was all good. But now it doesn't do that anymore, unfortunately. Yeah, Grim, at first I was thinking, you know, wow, that's interesting. But then, yeah, it's that time of year, right? It is that time of year. So yeah, Megan, if you've got a... oh, actually, Megan, the reason why you have to send it out right away... actually, I don't have to send it out for a month if I don't want to, but you'll never get your money. Because, yeah, the way the settings are now, until it arrives, you don't get anything. So that's less useful for paying bills, unfortunately, when it's just kind of sitting there in limbo because it hasn't arrived yet. Which is, I mean, I guess I understand. what they're trying to do with that, but it does make it rough for sellers, that's for sure. All right, so this is wiped away. We're good to go now to start throwing in, well, some Fanchon Red probably. Got some of our tiny touch of our, let's do a little bit of the thinner in there. That's some of our fluorescent red. Look at that nice dark red there. Yeah, Megan, that is the problem right there. I mean, it's not a problem. It's just it was a surprise, let me tell you that. I was trying to figure out what the heck was going on. I was like, what is going on here? What is with this? And then I had to Google that, and then I went, oh, okay, so that's different now. That's very different. All right, let's just get some of our little bit of our red over here. I don't need a ton of it. I'm looking forward to a cast shadow over here. So see how we did the cast shadow here on this deal? Looking to do a similar thing over here. I mean, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Now, of course, there might be, cannot confirm nor deny, there might be a box headed over that way. There might be a surprise inside, cannot confirm nor deny said presence of a possible surprise. Of course, and of course, for just some insane reason, all I could think of, let's bring him down here. He's like, hey, I want to be in a box. You know what I would be? I'd be a Jack in the Box. Boom, right there. Sorry, that had to happen. Hey, Dano, how you doing? So, wow, you thought Gandalf was bad with the dad jokes. Wow, look at Jack dropping down some dad jokes right there. Look at that Mad Jack, the Weird Jackal. Getting going with the crazy dad jokes. How does that happen? All right, time for some orange here. See what happens with that. Let's do some more. Let's go back to our red now. We're gonna have to mix up a bunch more. Actually, I still gotta find the fluorescent powders. That's something that I'm still missing, is the fluorescent powders. Gotta find me some of those. Now, apparently Green Stuff World, there's a box coming from Green Stuff World. I have no idea what's in there. Speaking of fluorescents, don't be surprised if it's the fluorescent gel stuff. Oh boy, yeah, it's I guess he's been around Gandalf too long, don't you think? Don't you think, Dano? I think that's what happens. That's the kind of bad influence that Gandalf is. That's what is it? Miss Randy, I think, was the name that they gave him. Not the nicest name to give him either. All right, so again, just starting to figure out where this stuff is gonna go. Yep, I think it's gonna reach out to there, just a smidge maybe, not much, but let's get some of this here so we can maybe have some kind of a cast shadow there. I just thought that could be really fun. We have done that type of a cast shadow a couple of times before. Yeah, so there's Dano had the master of the dad jokes to learn that craft from. I don't get to see Avocado Kids anymore, and I know he was really big with the dad jokes and stuff. That was his thing. That was definitely his thing. So Megan, now is the Hitchcock diorama, is that 100% all completed, or are there still some details left to do on that? Look at that. Look at that, all the way up to the top of that column there. the color might disappear off the top of the screen, so don't be surprised if that happens. But what are we, 15 minutes? We're 15 minutes in, and all of a sudden we got ourselves not just lights and darks, but object source lighting getting established. Don't blink. I believe that is what we say here on the channel. You snooze, you lose. You snooze, you're gonna miss something. Actually, well, now Valefaira, is that something that you have to go out of town to take care of, or is that something a little bit more local? Because, I just learned the hard way. Well, I mean, I knew there was always a possibility, but, really there was quite the experiment to see, what that's like when it is an out-of-town sort of a thing. So I wasn't sure if that's something now that you have to pack up and head off to, or is it something that's more in your area? Boy, I'm gonna have to darken this down too. Boy, Dano, there's just something about the object source lighting that just this is so much more fun. I mean, I could have painted this with no object source lighting on it. It would have been fine. But to me, this is just way more fun. I don't know. Now, where the heck is one of my? There's this. Oh, and you got your you got your filbert brushes. These really have taken more of a beating than I thought they would. I gotta say, I thought they would be pretty much destroyed by now. I mean, they have a little bit of wear and tear on them. There's no doubt about that. We got a little bit of the radiant violet here, by the way, and of course, we're doing this dry brushy style. Yeah, so, wow, that's in the spring, okay. But, well, in any case, definitely sorry that, well, just to extend my condolences there, for sure. As we add more of our, this is not white. There's no white on here. Well, I mean, I suppose there's white in the, I almost said Egyptian violet, in the radiant violet. But not exactly titanium white. And we're just gonna start putting this just going around some of the stone here, just to see how light do we want this to be. Now let's shift down over here to just a smidge of the, yeah, that's the radiant turquoise. I think the kitty here should probably be nice and dark, like one of those kind of obsidian statues or whatever. We also have to cool this down, so that's why we're going to stick with the radiant turquoise over here. We want it to have some lights on there, but we also want this to be as neutral, as cool as possible. It was very simple, Dano. It was mostly just Van Dyke brown. In some places, a little bit of black spinel, and then in other places, maybe back over here, there was a little more indigo in it. But for the most part, Van Dyke brown, black spinel. There's maybe a little bit of asphaltum that worked its way in there, but that's about it. So it was pretty darn simple, nothing complicated, because there's already so much going to be happening right over in this area. Didn't want to, and I would like to do some kind of fur here, something in the way of browns, because on the other stuff, well, that's is that a mask I'm seeing on the cat? I don't know. Not quite sure if there's a mask on the cat or not. There we go. I think we'll stick with that for right now. Now let's come back in here. We got to start to, I see there's some orange that we got to still get in here. Might just a little bit of the Indian yellow work its way into that. What the heck? Because somehow I just didn't get very much of our initial blast of fluorescence. Is there any more that's... Oh, yeah, we need some over here, too. Oh, wow, you know, oh, look at this. It actually, there should be some back here. Again, we have another shadow that's going to happen this way. So I think, don't be surprised if with these clay... Oh, look at that. See, that's kind of neat how it's going to block the firelight right there. Hey, Hippie Heretic, how you doing? Nice to see you, too. Yeah, the Van Dyke... Now, of course, that's the Van Dyke Brown from Williamsburg. I used to always just use the Van Dyke Brown from, oh, what the, oh, Gamlin, yeah. I still actually have like 2 tubes of that. It's not like it's bad or anything. It's really good. I really like the Williamsburg stuff. Now I think the Van Dyke Brown from Gamlin's a little bit more neutral. I think it's almost a bit more towards the gray. I'm thinking it's a little bit more towards the gray. All right, this probably needs to get darker there too. Thanks, Dano. Now the Clay Cyanide stuff, the one crazy thing, now of course this is just with their supports. You have to, they're kind of unusual in that they're like their own freestanding supports. They don't have any platforms. Well, they have a platform, but they're not, usually all the supports on a miniature are just part of the same connected platform. Clay Cyanide doesn't do it that way. It's the weirdest method of supporting I've ever seen. And I gotta say I'm not a huge fan of that. Makes it really, really, really tough to get that thing extracted from your plate there. Well, let's see. Yeah, Happy Heretic, I know you've been working on a lot of stuff and you've been kind of spraying to all fields. Now here, we're combining the fluorescent yellow, another one I have to make some more of because I'm basically out now. And that's with the radiant lemon. And we're just going to pop this into here for some of our lightest flames here. So one more day left for Happy Heretic in their long weekend. So Valfera, it's meant to be used really thick. So you're talking about the Black 3.0, I'm sure, right? At least from what they said, it has to go on super thin and multiple layers. Now, when I'm putting it on the base, I usually have black primer there already, so it's already really dark there. And then I'll put usually, I want to say, maybe 2 layers minimum. It might need a third, and it says, you know, it needs multiple layers. I don't know if you've seen any of their instructional videos. So Dark Elf James, we've done a couple of vids. Actually, I believe that Jack, this is one of the first ones where we had the Radiant Lemon out there. It's a lot warmer than the Brilliant Yellow Pale. So it's a lot warmer than the Brilliant Yellow Pale. I mean, well, here it's not quite to this level, but there's the Radiant Lemon. Brilliant Yellow Pale is a little bit more yellow than the white, but Brilliant Yellow Pale would it be in between these two. So you can see just how orange the Fanchon Red became mixed with the Radiant Lemon. So this is part of the new Patreon video that I'm working on right now. I'm going to be finishing off the last of it after the stream here, and this will hopefully be going up onto the Patreon page tomorrow. Probably the last video of not October, of November. Hey, Bath, how you doing? So I think we're so yeah, Dark Elf James, the Radiant Lemon definitely is has a lot more yellowness to it, whereas the brilliant yellow pale, well, it's pale. And it definitely is nowhere near as bright as, say, something like this radiant lemon. It's got that much more of a yellowness to it, which is cool, which is very nice. Nothing bad about that. They each kind of serve their own purposes. All right, now we're going to try and get some of our light expanded out here onto the rest of this. We don't want it to be too yellowish. I pretty much need to make a whole new batch of my fluorescents here. We've used them a lot. We have certainly used these guys a lot. So Valfair had, what does it say? It says use the 2.0 as a primer base. Oh, Valfair, geez, I meant to ask you. Sorry, I forgot. That was USA Art Supply, right? Where the fluorescent sorry, not the fluorescent, the interference powders came from, because I've had 2 people ask me today, and I just was blanking on that, and I thought, yeah, I think it was USA Art Supply. I wonder, Valfair, do you think USA Art Supply might have fluorescent pigment powders too? I mean, if they have the if they got the interference powders, they just might have the fluorescent too. I guess I'll have to just go check. Hey Ford, how you doing? Actually, Valfair, I saw, oh gosh, it almost looked like it had rabbit ears on it. Now, I didn't get a chance to look and see if that was FDM printed, but if you're saying you're doing a lot of that lately, maybe that's maybe that was FDM printed. I know that you had the big experiment going. Could you sort of remake the FDM printer in the way you wanted it to be? So Ford, how you doing? Well, I'm glad that you're. Hopefully you're now able to do a little bit of resting there. So Grim was just. I don't know if you saw right there, Bath. So wow, Grim. Because Radiant Lemon compared to the Brilliant Yellow Pale, boy, I can only imagine what the Radiant Yellow then. Of course, it's got the Indian. It's So is that Radiant Mangoes, Grim? I guess that one would qualify as Radiant Mangoes then. Yes, that would be Radiant Mango. That's if we ever have that one here, that's just how we're gonna have to refer to it. Is this Radiant Mango? Oh, you got it rebuilt, and it has been printing good of it. Actually, Valfair, I could swear I saw an Instagram of the new setup or of the printer there, or I think it was in the middle of printing something, and that was just a few days ago. Maybe it was yesterday, the day before. I could swear that you posted a picture. As we're just going to try and lighten up this edge, the figure's a little bit in the way there, so we're just going to have to approach it this way. And we're just trying to ease our light up that. I see, I thought that would be way more fun. Again, we could have painted this just fine, but I mean, okay, a couple of flamey skulls and this. Way more interesting, right? Let's see. So, okay, so there we go. But Valfira, that was one of the critical finds. I think it was last summer, right? I was trying to tell somebody that that's, I think that's when you discovered that was last summer. Or was it, no, it was last summer, I think, when you discovered those. Or was it a little bit later than that? No, I think it was last summer. All right, we're just going to keep hitting this with some of our, again, that's our fluorescent red. There we go. So thanks, Velfera, for sending the link, well, to me, but thanks for posting that for everybody else. So everybody, let's see. Oh, nope, nope, nope. So you want to make your own interference colors and not have to spend as much on the Williamsburg stuff. You get go to that link that Velfera was kind enough to post it. Jeez, Velfera, no way, February 20th of this year? Holy smokes, boy, Velfera, have we learned that much with that stuff? And it's only, what, February 26th, so 2/11. That was barely over 9 months ago. Geez, Velfera, kids grow up fast, don't they? I mean, they go from, shall we say, not even outside to growing up really, really quick. That's amazing. You have 3-plate resin print for Loot Studios, Merchant Wagon. Yeah, Dark Elf James, well, after this current batch of eBay figures pays off for all of the unexpected expenses, then we have to start doing more eBay auctions to try and get the scratch to be able to secure the large format printer. Because yeah, Dano, like doing what was Lilith? It was 6 for you, 5 or 6 for me. That just takes up, well, not just the printing time, but the time it takes to make those build plates and spread that stuff around. Just don't have the time for that. So I think we're all caught up. Sorry again if I missed something in the chat. I apologize. I'm still trying to actually get used to doing the stream stuff again. Because I think, yeah, before I left, I was still recording videos, but I wasn't able to do the stream. So just trying to get that head on a swivel again. Yeah, geez, Velfair, I could have sworn. Oh, you know what it was, Velfair? I think we had the interference paints. That's what it was. So last summer we had the interference paints, and then you said, well, that's neat, but what the heck are folks that can't get those supposed to do? And then you hunted down the powders. Man, it just seems like that was way longer ago. Of course, that arrived during all of the snow. Remember that, Valfera? I certainly haven't forgotten. Oh, oh thanks, Valfera. I appreciate that. Look at the coins into the medicine. Oh, by the way, Megan, this is a little bit different right here. Up north, well, there was the rum that I had actually given them as a Christmas present last year, but we took cream soda and mixed it with the rum, and that's very good medicine. Megan, you might want to give that a try. That was very tasty. Oh boy, Dano. Now, is the Oliphant, are all of them hollowed, or are some of them, because I've been trying to, avoid the ones that are pre-supported. I just don't know. I haven't had a chance to look at it close enough, unfortunately, to see, are they all hollowed out, or do I need to hollow some of those out myself? I haven't had a chance to look that quick. Yeah, Valfera, I thought it might be okay. It turns out to be really, really, really good stuff. Really enjoyed the heck out of it. But thanks so much, Valfera. That actually, that's fantastic, because now I can actually, there was some files that Kathy wanted from, I think it's from a My Mini Factory. It's not a Patreon thing. I mean, I just didn't have anything in the PayPal because of the eBay delay. So she'll be happy about that. So I'm sure Kathy will say thanks. Hey, Thranuel, nice to see you. Bundy rum and creamy soda. Yeah, Dano, I thought I might enjoy it. I didn't think I was gonna enjoy it quite that much. That was really, really good. Unfortunately, we have no more rum right now. That was the last of the rum, and, well, there's not that much more cream soda, so we pretty much need to get, well, both things to be able to continue having that. Again, it's just medicine. It's just medicine. We don't enjoy it, we just make it more tolerable. 8,000 Young, how you doing? So Thranduil, the most obvious choice for Black Spinel that's not going to be as expensive as Black Spinel would be Mars Black. I think it was Grim, I think you found another, well, possible Black Spinel substitute that's not going to be quite so expensive. See, Dano, I just wasn't sure, so I actually started hollowing out pieces. So, yeah, okay, I will hollow out those pieces then. Well, at least I know now that it's pretty much just not hollowed out, and I just got to do that myself. Oh, man, I just not really looking forward to that. Actually, I was trying to create a build plate with some of the new Printing Goes Ever On files. The halflings and the rangers, because I just wanted those to test out that water washable resin, because those prints would only take about 3 hours, 4 hours or so. All right, I think we've got we're really getting that nice and established there. Up in the wee hours of the morning, and then go hit the gym. Yeah, my exercise stuff has been completely just destroyed and ruined. Hopefully I'll be able to get back into that, but there's a little 1,000 Young for 1,000 Sun for 1,000 Young, keeping the eye on you. Yeah, there it is, keeping that eye on you. Making sure everything is good. So the Black Spinel is definitely worth it. Just to me, like the Egyptian Violet, I know that Stila also saw the difference between the two. Boy, she really remember the surprise. I mean, she was expecting it, but sometimes even when you're expecting something like that, and you just get surprised by the intensity of it. Well, Thranduil, the interference go. It's nice to have that, but you have, if you've got the green stuff world pigments like this, you can make your gold out of that. Now, I guess the next question is, do you have the iridescent pearl white? Because you can mix Indian yellow with that pearl white, and also create a bit of a gold metallic out of that too. Oh, let's see. Hey, Dark Denisim, how you doing? Let's see. Rum and ginger beer is called a Dark and Stormy. But if you substitute Scotch for the rum, it becomes a grumpy gentleman. I could see that. I could certainly see that. Oh, here, let's get a bit more of our lighter orange there. Boy, that's gonna be really interesting. You almost can't see the lighting there, and you turn around and bam, you get nailed by it. Hey, Paint Miniatures, how you doing? All right, so Valfera, what should we expect here? When we kill the color on this, what should we expect to happen to this? Are we going to see as much of a glow as we do, or is it going to lose some of the... Nah. When you have the light source right there, you usually keep some of the glow when we do film noir, but boy, it certainly doesn't have the impact right here. Let's bring back that color intensity again, like so. Yeah, see that's all of this neutral stuff over here. It's not just that that's darker, it's a more neutral, and then this is so intense right here. And so Paint Miniature, how you doing? I hope that you're doing well. You should use keep it until you have done some brush control. Yeah, all of this stuff, Valfair, just kind of disappeared, didn't it? Just kind of all went away, which I find infinitely fascinating. But again, we're going to have to let some of this set here for a while. Look at even this should almost be a little bit of a cast shadow right here. But yeah, Dark Elf James, well, think of what we started with. We started with the Wintons. That's what I was using for what? The first 3.5 years was just the Wintons. And then we discovered, the regular artist code, and then we discovered the Williamsburg, and then Dark Elf, all bets were off, right? So Green Fairy, it was, fortunately, it wasn't super different from how we started this. Now this one had more indigo in it because that's supposed to be like an obsidian deal right there. This is mostly Van Dyke Brown, tiny touch of asphaltum, and black spinel. And then we were using our fluorescence there. Actually, Green Fairy. So I'm going to have to finish filming this video after we're done here. But this is the first video that's all about radiance. So this is our control thing here. That's just titanium white. And then these 6 are the radiance. And it's mixed with Fanchon red. Because what I wanted to do was create a different type of red here. And actually, Grim, you could really see here where this kind of dulls the Fanchon red down as far as the shininess because the radiants are flat. And then you also have the fact that this was really, it mixed very nicely. Hey, Bithron, how you doing? So Grim, the 2 things, that was like 4 different things that I was trying to experiment with in one video. When I looked at the, what was it, Dark Sword episode 45, I saw that, well, I was using Fanchon red, but I was using things like phthalo green. So I'm going to try and use stuff like indigo, the Van Dyke brown, and perline black to see if those also kind of mitigate the shininess of the Fanchon red. So there we go. That's getting brighter too. Yeah, Velfair, boy, that was a total accident too, right? It just happened to be part of that modern color set. And I just was never really happy with any other red. And then along came Fanchon red, and everything was glorious. And Grim, I'm sure there's more to come when I actually start painting the miniature itself. You know there's going to be something else that just kind of crops up there as we're painting that. Because I didn't want people to just think that, the radiants were, I don't know, that it was some kind of a shortcut thing, right? Where you use that, maybe you save a step here or two. I wanted it to be more multifaceted than that. Like there was more to the radiance even than I thought before. And hopefully it's the same way for folks, that they just get to feel like, yeah, there's some really nifty stuff you can do with these. And it can help you out, like if you're getting that shiny effect that, well, we're kind of trying to stay away from, basically. Glad that you're doing okay there, Pitron. Those were some pretty neat looking files. I think you're right about the one for the tartan, and then the one for the flames there. I mean, you would think that there would be some decent battle tech type files out there. I mean, for as popular as that is, of course, and then, the digital sculpting kind of, I mean, if there's anything that lends itself to making mechs, it would be the digital sculpting, wouldn't it? I thought for sure. Here, there we go. It's again, just we're establish the object source lighting first, right? We haven't fooled around much with this at all. We did throw a little bit of our lighter colors in there. Hey, Rathmore, how you doing? Actually, yeah, Megan, if you want to show off any pictures of your spectacular, well, of course, oh gosh, what is that? Is it Wednesday or Tuesday or Friday or whatever? I'm not really, I always keep forgetting my Addams family. Or Wednesday, maybe? I don't remember. But if you also want to show off your Alfred Hitchcock spectacular diorama, and oh yeah, Quiz, if you want to show off your bases that you made, that would be cool too. Now, I don't know if I don't think they've sent them off just yet, but the folks from Mini War Gaming, right? Yeah, MWG. They have some STL files of Space Marines, probably like Chaos Space Marines. They're supposed to be sending those this way, and I will certainly be painting those up on stream. So, for folks that were wanting to see Space Marines, but that were potentially going to be STL files, you'll get your wish now, I guess. I think you're going to get your wish. And there we go. So there's the Alfred. Oh, he doesn't have a postum yet. Because I saw the spectacular pictures that were sent to me, and I said, "Oh, those are some really fine bases. Love me some very nifty bases for well, anything. I mean, it's always interesting to see, any kind of basing, but that sort of raised basing, that's always a blast. I think I will just maybe stick with the gold-ish type surface here. There's Quiz, always has it in Discord, so if everybody could go, please go and oogle or ogle or whatever. Go ahead and ogle Quiz for a while. Megan surely won't mind. That's some of the Radiant Lemon here. Like I say, that's a very fun, if you're looking to do some little highlights in your non-metallic gold, Radiant Lemons sure can't hurt. And I think down here I would maybe use Radiant Green or something like that to get the highlights, or some reflected highlights. Not necessarily just straight up. Let's thin that down a little bit more. I think we've got a little bit of a glob on the brush there. Just trying to, so Thingiverse used to have lots until they got, oh wow, yeah, boy. So it's not just the 800-pound gorilla that also does the cease and desist thing then, Bitron? Oh, and apparently the Balin's tomb, I was thinking that was, well, that's basically their 20th anniversary, Lord of the Rings deal right there. And apparently it is not a permanent thing. I guess it is a limited run or something like that. So that's not something that's going to be part of the line, apparently, which makes no sense. And I guess I was just seeing things on the Lord of the Rings group about people that can't get it already. What was that? Oh, Cursed City? Wasn't that the thing that all of a sudden nobody could get, and then they scrubbed it from all of their social media profiles and stuff? I guess this is the Lord of the Rings version of that. That Alfred also made possible. Oh, geez, I remember it was really, actually, Megan, I'm going to have to take the pictures that you sent and make a step-by-step photo thing for you, like a montage or something. so that you can see, like for yourself, kind of, almost in a way, you can see what I was seeing. That could be really fun for you. I might have to just take those pictures there and see if I can't put those together. Nah, I don't want that. I'm gonna tone some of that down. There we go. Yeah, actually, several times, Thranio, especially on the, well, you're not going to do any chipping on TMM on like a metallic surface, right? Because there's not going to be any chipping there. There's no paint to chip away. I mean, if you're thinking something like chips on a sword blade or something like that, that wouldn't be any different than just really doing regular cuts or scratches or chips on a sword blade. Let's get a little bit more of our light color here. And maybe some over here too, just there. And then I was hoping maybe to get some reds and whatever in there. Boy, Velfira, well, I keep thinking that so many times I've had to just, well, make do with whatever I've got. The necessity or desperation is the mother of invention. There we go. That's the expression I was looking for. It goes beyond necessity. It's desperation. Sometimes you just like, I got a piece of gum, I got some masking tape, and I've got a paper plate. And now I need to make a nuclear reactor out of this. And that's pretty much, that's the Wappel way right there. So here, I wanted this to be more of an indigo. What are we doing? We're taking indigo, black spinel, and I'm just, since I don't have to keep working on this, I can work on other things. I just did myself a nice little glazy thing over the top of that. I'm going to do the same on the, I'm going to just guess that's supposed to be here. Yeah, Megan, it was really looking so fantastic that just the idea, the concept of it was so. Speaking of outside the box, that was some serious outside the box creativity there to come up with that idea. So Happy Heretic, yep, that, believe it or not, huge surprise at ReaperCon several years ago. I got labeled the MacGyver of miniature painting. Yeah, there was. So Thranduil, that's. I would suggest you just check out some of the videos that I've done. We've got lots of dark metal videos. It's also going to depend. Do you want a warm dark or a cool dark? If you want something that's cooler, well, you're probably going to emphasize something like indigo. If you want something that's warmer, you're going to maybe want something like the black spinel, something with Van Dyke brown maybe as an emphasis in it. So now we're starting to think about some white in there, but it's there is no one dark color. Obviously, even though it's a dark color, it could be a dark blue, it could be a dark violet, it could be a very dark green. It could be a very dark red for that matter. So it's going to depend on what you want it to be. You'll just have to start out with something like a dark green mixed with either, or you could just take, oh gosh, like black spinel and mixed it with interference green, and that would give you a very dark metallic green for sure. So yeah, the I guess Bitra would just say It was the imagery. It was just they kind of were stupid and just said BattleTech. Now, of course, it gets really hard to find stuff like Lord of the Rings stuff. You know, you're looking for, well, digital sculpts of Sauron. Well, if you do that, and if you, if you call your My Mini Factory thing and you have that there, well, you'll have discovery, all right. Maybe some discovery that you don't want to have happen. But then that makes it really hard for the rest of us to find something that we're actually looking for. Well, that Thranduil, like I said, just check out the videos because we're obviously not using any acrylic paint names. We're using just the regular old oil paint names like Indigo, like Van Dyke Brown, and we use those same names over and over again. I mean, ad nauseum using those same names. You'll hear them in your sleep. You'll hear them so many times you'll never ever forget them. So they're just trying to get a little bit of the white down in here, not too much. If that gets too light, and it starts to rival this in brightness. So they went kind of nuts and they nuked all the tags with BattleTech, including terrain. Valfera, I would really love to be able to paint the that West Virginia 1/700 scale ship that I was. I think you've seen that. I've showed you that particular blog post there. But with all of the mayhem that's gone on, and of course we're going to be gone again in December now, which wasn't originally going to be planned. Pretty much everything I was going to do for December is kind of scrapped. And we'll just have to pretty much do it week by week, I think. Or day by day almost. It'll just, I'll have to see what I can do when I can do it. I would have loved to, like I said, do that 1/700 scale ship. But I don't, best not to rush that, right? So yeah, just like Green Fairy Studio was saying there, I'm pretty much using the same. Now, of course, we've added the radiance to this, but you don't have to use them. But we pretty much use the same colors over and over again. The Indigo, the Van Dyke Brown, Terra Rosa, the Fanchon Red. You see those same colors popping up an awful lot. Now I'm thinking for the fur here. Yeah, Valfera, I'm not really sure that's something that I could even paint on stream. I'd have to really actually sit down to see what's the logistics of that. But as I was moving furniture around and stuff earlier today, that the boxes of those two West Virginia kits, they definitely kept popping up in my face. I think originally what I wanted to do with those was make those be tutorial videos because I could maybe have a little bit more control. Now, actually, Valfera, here's something that I could do. There's this. We could do a painting, like just a 2D painting, right? So that's that is not out of the mix there, Valfera. So don't be surprised. Oh, what the heck is today? The 29th. What would this Thursday be? Would that be like the 2nd or something? Hey, Linguin, nice to see you again. Oh, but I'm going to... No, that'd be too much. I'm going to take some of the Asphaltum. We're mixing that with Terra Rosa here. See, that's going to be... Nope, that's not going to be good. That's going to be too close. I'm going to have to scrap this color right here. I mean, not completely scrap. We'll just mix it more with what we got here. But we've got to do something a little different here. A little different. I'm going to take the Asphaltum. We're going to take Well, this should be interesting. Asphaltum mixing it with the Radiant Lemon. So it's a little bit warmer now. So it's separating from our indigo little kitty statue right there, but it's also, yeah, there we go. That's just enough. Now we might need to lighten up the face here a little bit more too. So Grim, I actually did paint a couple of Pearl Harbor scenes. Actually, what I'm more inclined to paint actually is a picture of, well, there's a really neat picture of the Tennessee that's doing shore bombardment. I believe on Okinawa. Yeah, I think it was Okinawa, Tennessee, doing some shore bombardment there. So that might be a possibility too. All right, so I think I have to keep the fur on the back a little darker, but let's see if we can do. Here, I'm gonna take some more of that Radiant Lemon here on the underside of this. So Languin, I hope that you're doing well. But Valfera, thanks for the reminder though about well, just jogging my mind there. Just think of, well, what could I do beyond just the model kits there? So somewhere, around here, I think we have to scroll up a long way to find it. Whoops, is that it? Nope, that's not it. That's not it, but it's somewhere around here. Let me see if I can find that. This is one of my birthday paintings here. It's somewhere around here. Ah, this is it. Yeah. So this was one of the birthday paintings that I did. So possibility something maybe like that. The Tennessee or the West Virginia, perhaps. Now, did I scroll too far? Nope. Ah, there we go. There's my scene again. So Dirk Dennison, there is no specific ratio. It's going to depend. Each one is a little bit different. And you're also going to want to have some of your, whatchamacallit, handy as well. You're going to want to have some of your center handy. Because if I recall, the blue, the purple, maybe the green as well, especially the blue, the red, and the purple, I just had to add a little bit of thinner to those as well. But when I made mine, and you can watch the video, I poured in some of the powder, then I put in a little bit of linseed oil. I just kept mixing them. And if it was just getting too thin, I would put a little bit more powder in there. Well, actually, Grim, I could paint bolt action miniatures there. That I could do. I have plenty of bolt action miniatures that I could paint for that. Yeah, boy, Velfera, it would be really fun to. I wish I could kind of keep painting the Cruel Sea stuff. It's just sadly, unfortunately, the environment that we live in, it's difficult for those of us that like the historical stuff, that's for sure. It's very difficult, sadly. If it were up to me, I would certainly, there would be a lot of other things I would love to be able to paint. But sadly, I don't have control over those type of things. Yeah, Dirk Dennison, just try it with one, right? Try it with one, and I would say maybe start off with the oranges, because those seem to be, they don't need, at least I didn't think that they needed any of the thinner in them. Those seem to be the easiest ones to mix and to get to a certain ratio. So yeah, I would say start off with the oranges and maybe leave ones like the blue and the purple. I think the magenta one wasn't too difficult. But maybe don't start out with the blue, the red, or the purple one. Maybe save those for a little bit, once you've kind of had a chance to mix them a few times. Yeah, so Valfair, I guess we're gonna have to do you some bolt action 101st then. Yeah, we'll have to do some of those for you. Oh, here, let's get that so you can see. Okay, it's a little lighter now, but it still is more muted color-wise. Ooh, Valfair. Hey, let's now that we got some light here, let's do a film noir on this. You can yeah, look at this. You can normally we don't see that much of a value change there. That's not really super bright. Interesting. And then well, now we can see. Ooh, now that we have some of the oh wow, look at how light that looks. But watch what happens when we bring the color back. So I'm gonna say that this, see, that doesn't draw your attention the way that does, right? Look at that, looks kind of dingy, and all the warmth right there. So we've been successful. And this is mostly the Radiant Lemon mixed with the Asphaltum at this point, I think. Yeah, that's about it. Ooh, that's it. Well, I'm going to add a little bit of the Radiant Violet to it this time. I don't want it to end up looking yellow, because then it's just going to fight with the golds that we're trying to do, but I think we need to start getting some lighter colors in the face here. Actually, as I look at this here, Megan, I keep thinking of when you guys introduced the new cat there, and the process of introducing the new cat. But they're pretty much integrated now, right? All right, well, Dano, I know you always have to do your conference calls. We should still be here. We should still be here. I know yesterday there was the craziness with whatever Twitch was being twitchy. I think today it's been okay. It's just absolutely irritating when there's nothing you can do, but it's just Twitch being twitchy. Yeah, more of the I'm gonna a little bit more of that Radiant Violet in there, and of course that is not a super light color either. That's just several steps below something like a white. That is not white by any stretch of the imagination. I might start thinking about a few little highlights on the hair, such as it is. We'll do some of that over here. So let's see, what is this Thursday going to be? If this is the 29th, Tuesday's the 30th, so it will be, I guess, December 2nd. The next Thursday would be December 9th, so maybe 2 Thursdays from now, maybe we try and see what kind of interesting 2D painting we can do. So Thranul, like we always say, with the oils, you can do some pin line washes, but if you're going to go wet into wet, you cannot glaze like acrylics. That is, unless you've let the previous layer dry, in which case, then you can actually do some really nifty stuff, almost like you're using acrylics, but it just sounds like there's a little bit of acrylic techniques trying to sneak into the oils right there. You just kind of have to abandon that whole idea of glazing. You have to think much drier than that. Now again, if your previous layers, if they're all dry, well then you can actually do some really nifty things with oil glazes, because you're not going to do like what you said was happening to you there, where you wipe out what's underneath. So yeah, you have to, again, sadly, you're going to have to abandon those acrylic ideas right there. And you're going to have, like with the hashtag no layers, right? We don't do layers with the oils. And here, okay, I did that pin line wash and I just let it sit there. It's not dry by any stretch of the imagination, but you see it's not all super shiny. That's because of timing. I let that sit there before I went back in and did anything to it. Well, Velferro, we'll get you one last... oh, actually, Velferro, wait till we hit this cat here. And then we'll try and do a quick film noir with the cat here that's got some of the lighter indigo on it. There's a little bit of Prussian blue as well. But just give me 1 second here to try and a little bit more of the lighter indigo. Where's my potential blending brush here? That's, well, we'll just use that. Whatever. No big deal. All right, we'll take this some more. Okay, there we go. So let's do a parting film noir there. Wow, look at how light this is. We saw it last time. Look how it's the same level of lightness as this, but when the color comes back, one just gets dingy, right? And that your eye is drawn to that because of all the blazing orange right there. Yeah, so Thranduil, that's why we kind of we have those little sayings, right, in the book of Wappel there, where just hashtag no layers. You're not going to be able to layer like you do with the acrylics. You're going to have to put colors on there and then push those around. And you pretty much have to set glazing to the side. That is, unless you let those previous layers dry. And that's what every army painting series is about, is taking advantage of the paint drying in between sessions. Because there's no way that I could film an entire army painting series without the paint drying. It dries too fast. It would literally be drying as I'm filming stuff. So there's no way we would have just total like this on an entire army painting series. That would not be possible. Well, thanks again, Velferro, and also thanks so much for the funds there, because those are super needed right now. We are very much appreciative of that. And what's say Monday, Wednesday? So I don't know if I'll be able to do a surprise Wednesday stream or not. I might just try and do some streams on different days just to kind of make up for, well, the streams that I lost before while I was away, but also just trying to stockpile some more before we head out again for Christmas. Was that the Gen Con thing? Was it the Aces of Painting or whatever? The last 2 years we've been using the oils on that. And it is really hilarious when some folks will say, they're like, you got 2 minutes left, and there's people still putting their initial base coats on things or whatever. And I've got like other figures that I'm working on because, don't want to be hasty, right? Gotta let the oils just sit there and, do their thing. So yeah, that's in a speed painting competition, pulling out other miniatures and start working on those. It does tend to make the others a little bit more nervous. That's for sure. All right, so now we're starting to get our lighter Prussian blue, turquoise mix in there. Let's see if we can't maybe throw a little bit of this white in there. Not too much, just a little bit here. Might be too much, but let's see what happens with this. We'll just throw that right over here. So too much, it'll just end up being almost the same value as the white. We don't want that. Oh, some Empire of Dust. Love me some Empire of Dust. It was really fun. Actually, you know, I do still have a couple of Empire of Dust chips sitting around somewhere. I don't know where the heck they are now, but they're around here somewheres. I want a little bit of the Indian yellow mixed with that. Nah, that's gonna be too light. We need more of the Prussian blue back into that. And all I need is just a little bit of this on a couple of these guys. I was thinking about doing red there. See, that's a little too thin. We gotta thicken that up a bit. There, that's a little better, because it was just starting to become a pin line wash, and well, that's not really gonna work. I'm looking at this thing. It shouldn't really catch that much of the orange. We'll just darken that up for right now. Now let's see if we can get some wee little highlights along these glyphs over here. Take the radiant violet here, it looks like. And look at this, caress the brush, do not crush. But look at this, my hand is closer to the end of the brush than it is over here. We're certainly not doing this. Why? Because, well, I can't get anywhere near it. This right here, my hand is actually on the table. This hand goes onto either my hand or onto the dead pink container here to make everything nice and steady, nice and solid. Well, Rubik's Cube, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate that. And hopefully we see you on the next stream. Thanks so much for joining. I appreciate that. Here we go. Now we're starting to get a couple little highlights here. Make it look like our light is coming down this way. So they're calling it a... If they really like it, is it a holy cow? Because it's a sacred game. Here, let's get that piece of fuzz off of the brush there. All I want to do is just to get the suggestion of some highlights here. Not too extreme. Not too much. Just see that? Just that little bit. It's a suggestion. Let's do the same thing over here too. It's a, well, boy, what's the classic one? Where's our troll right here? This is the classic one, right? You think, man, this is so much brighter value-wise than all this here. Well, you would think that until you see this. Boom. Oh, and over here, by the way, it totally disappears. Watch what happens when we bring back that color. Look at that. That is all about the color intensity, the color temperature, right? And when you look here, all you see is the grayed down stuff. Cooler, grayer. Here it's warmer, more saturated. Danny M, how you doing? Nice to see you back. Now we're doing another one of the Clay Cyanide miniatures here, and of course having fun with our object source lighting. I mean, just how could it not be fun? We're having our chance to do some object source lighting. But what's really interesting, Green Fairy, when we get to do, especially the 2D art, where we get to do the edge contrast as well, where you have hard edges, soft edges. It's a little bit hard to get that on a miniature. Just they're smaller. I mean, you have some of it where you've got, say, your metal versus skin type surfaces. But on the paintings, they're large enough where you can really sort of show that off. I swear this is almost like a little bunny rabbit or something here. Well, I'm glad that you're good. I mean, yeah, you know, tired. Boy, I can... Armored Wolf and I definitely can relate to the tired. Definitely, and if everybody could please check out Armored Wolf on the Instagrams, also Armored Wolf on the Etsy's there. Boy, if you were to Armored Wolf showed me some pictures of dice bags. Well, today, but yesterday, I think it was yesterday. Yeah, it was like interference paints on leather. You know how where the heck did it? It's like one of these Osiark guys here. So yeah, imagine all of these wild colors like this, but on a leather dice bag. That's what I got to see yesterday. That was, man, that was pretty incredible. Hey, look at this. Look what we got. We got ourselves a Lamines. Lamines, how you doing? So Lamines, I don't think I'll be able to participate, sadly, in the Cyber Monday. Yeah, Cyber Monday, the Soraya Smoky Black. Actually, we have some PayPal funds, but well, it's a little. It'll be after midnight by the time we're done here. So I don't know. I think there still will be some sales to be had. And there's the Megan. There's the Megan who's also with the Quees. The Quees and the Megans all together there. Let's do this side now. Again, just taking some of this Radiant Violet here. So Artemichael, I think it might have been on, well, Lamines can tell you. I think it was probably on Amazon. But it was, well, it wasn't a colossal sale. It's just instead of being 34, 35 bucks, Soraya Smoky Black was back down to its original price of 29 bucks. Well, I don't know if that was its original price, but shall we say pre-shortage price of around 29 bucks? Which is why I think, oh yeah, Lamines, didn't I, that the circle of printing is to print miniatures so that you can paint the miniatures, so that you can sell the miniatures, so that you can get the money to buy more resin, so that you can print more miniatures. It's the circle of painting life. I believe that's how we categorize that. Because at Lamines, that ain't far from the truth, is it? That is not far from. Well, actually, oh, there should be another layer to that Lamines. So it's not just you need that to get more resin, but you need that to get all of the printing files, right? Because you seriously think you're just going to stop at, I don't know, 20 printing Patreons? You really think you're only going to have 20 of those? That's impossible, right, Lamines? Amistig, I'm all in favor of that. I am totally in favor. Everything that our cheap little craft brushes touch. So, how easy was that? Here, why don't we do it again? Because it's just so difficult. Here, we're just gonna slop a little bit of that on there. We're gonna take this blending brush and push that over to the side. Let's get some a bit lighter here. Pop this over here, take a blending brush. I mean, it's that stinking easy. Oh, Lamines, I did just... do you do Lost Kingdoms? Because they just showed their little... well, their silhouette preview thing. I really couldn't tell what that was supposed to be. I don't know if you have any possible insight on what the new Lost Kingdoms one's going to be. So see, we're really careful about our brush strokes, right? You can see, look at the delicacy and the care that was done in the application of that lighter brush stroke there. Oh, wait. It really was. Oh, look at that. We wish it to be smoother, we can make it smoother. And, yeah. Big flat areas like that, I used to say, ah, geez, that's going to take X amount of layers. Nope. Hashtag no layers, baby. Yeah, glob and blend. What was it? Oh, plop and push. Wasn't that the original thing that we said a while back? Plop and push. That was the way. Kind of like the Mandalorians. That is the way. Actually, that sounds really good there. I think we have a. Oh, I don't know if we have a chapter of the Book of Wappel that says just plop and push. But what is that? So glob, blend, repeat. This is the way. Yeah, actually, Stig. I think we have to have that something like that in the Book of Wappel, perhaps. All right. This, again, we're just gonna slop that on there, and then we are just gonna push that around like so. Yeah. Do something like that over here. Maybe a little bit thicker with the paint. And you say, what the heck just happened over here? Well, it might just be a bit of magic. Because, oh yeah, we can do something like this here. Huh? Is that the new ride there of Green Fairy Studios? They slop and smooth? You don't have Lost Kingdom. I think, what was it they did? Oh yeah, it was the Chaos Dwarves they did. That, I think, was their October release, maybe? That was very fun. Or was it Titan Forge? No, I think it was Lost Kingdoms that did, maybe it was Titan Forge. I'm just getting all mixed up. No, I think Titan Forge did something else. Okay, we have our string of highlights here. We got a string of highlights there. Now we gotta kind of go oppo this way. That's, yeah, I had my own little variation on that one. That I think we substituted flush for fizz, and that was, yeah, that's how that little tune went. So yeah, that was a little bit of a, well, it's a community effort, right? That's all of the fun developments that we've had with printing, with the different types of paints, with the interference stuff. I mean, well, here, this is was right in the middle of filming a video. We're going to finish off this video once we're done here, but this is all the different radiant colors mixed with Fanchon red. And this is something we didn't have just a couple of months ago, really. Yep, in the Wappel household, you're definitely going to have, oh, one or two references made to certain types of humor, that's for sure. Now here, let's again, kind of the opposite here. These are fake going down. These have to go in the opposite direction. Let's look at this. We're gonna sneak right through, right past the figure, and see if we can't, again, get a couple of little highlights over here. We might also have to add some darks there. And again, this is from Clay Cyanide, and 1 hour 58 minutes ago, this had no paint on it. It was paint free. It just had primer, nothing else. That's it. Just the primer, and all of this, well, it started out in the usual way with our pre-glaze, of course. Then we started to work in our object source lighting, of course, because you want that, and you want to get that established as soon as you can. Why superimpose it later? That is no benefit whatsoever. Especially since, well, what if I had painted all that area only to realize, oh yeah, that light's supposed to reflect on there? Well, I didn't exactly save myself any time there now, did I? All right, let's see if we can, around the eyes of our little skelly friends here, get some dark onto that. Here we got the some of the Fanchon red, mixed with some of our asphaltum, and right around the eye sockets of her skull here. Maybe a little more of the fanchon red into that. Hey, Clover, how you doing? Thank you very much. There we go. So now the little flamey stuff in the eyes looks that much brighter. We need to do the same over here on this part of the skelly friend. Maybe even on his chompers right there. So now we're starting to add, well, potentially some fiery shadows right there. So Clover, it's going to be fun to see all of the clay cyanides together, because I think there's 6 of these. Yeah, I think there's 6 of them, and I figured, you know what, maybe if I can try and do some form of object source lighting on each one, it's really going to unify the whole set together, of course. So that should be very fun. I'm looking forward to seeing that all together. Oh, yeah, back to our, again, that's our darker red, almost a bit like a shadow color here. We might need a little bit of that, a hint of red up here. That part of the collar. It's just a hint of some red there, that's all. Thank you very much, Clover. So, yeah, I think we got a half a dozen of these. Now, some of them are really big. This is one of the smaller ones here, almost. And then, of course, the other one with that nice throne or dais or whatever you want to call that. That was really fun. The little torch thing, that was actually from Loot Studios. That's the other. I have to start going back into all the different Loot Studios things and start printing some of those little terrain pieces. I had printed some, but we've kind of learned even more how we can utilize those since then. Here, let's maybe darken down the top of that flame just a little bit here. And again, we're looking to cast a shadow here, which means I need to get a little bit more of the brighter orange there. If I can, doesn't have to be super bright. Use a little bit of the Indian yellow there. Again, that is the Indian yellow, some of our nice fluorescent red. That's the homemade stuff. And you can see how it loses that gloss really quick. That's the pigment powders mixed with our linseed oil. I'll probably do some little either highlights or darks, something in there. Looking at this, it might just catch the end of her ear. Might have a little orange there. And let's see if we can get just enough light here, and then maybe add some dark. Right there, because you can sort of see, if we hold this straight up and down, you can see how the light's sort of sneaking through here. We want the light to sneak through here, and then perhaps some kind of a shadow there. This is a little bit of Van Dyke brown. And just something like that. There we go. Yeah. Something to emphasize. There's a possibility of a cast shadow there. So actually, Laminesse, one of the sculpts, the wings were, I want to say 3% too large to fit on the Sonic Mini 4K. Now, of course, Clay Cyanide, their figures, if you try and reduce the size, it kills the supports. So I think one of these I actually had to just support myself. And of course, the supports, they don't have the platforms on them. They're all just individual, just, you know, stalks that go down onto the build plate, so it makes it very difficult to remove them. So I might as well just do my own supports then. So I've got, I forget what the other characters are. I don't remember what they are. But it's all part of that one commission. I think I've got one other one already printed out. But that's when there was some mischief going on with the printer. Before we, yeah, I was experimenting with the not smoky black resin. Experiment over, unfortunately. We won't be messing around with that stuff probably ever again. So it's not that it's bad, it just does not work in this climate for sure. There's just way too much changes in temperature here. That might be a little too light. That might work better for down here, actually. Maybe. Yeah, that's we'll leave it down here, I think. It's not that it's super light, it's just so intense, so bright, and so warm that next to what's here, it looks that much more intense. We'll lighten this up too, just a little bit more, and I think actually we might even be able to get that edge with just a bit of this too. Yeah, we'll lighten up that edge just a smidge, and it was nice that it did fit on a 50mm base. Queeze is still around. Queeze is still here, even though it's getting, well, it's getting later for our Eastern time zoners. Somehow I thought it was later than it was. This also, because we want that light to carry all the way through here. So see, if we're hold straight up and down, we want that light to carry through this way. We might still have to also darken this stuff down to, let's say, give that impression of some kind of a cast shadow. Heck, we even have to think about this, casting a shadow here. Oh, thanks, Bitron. Yeah, this one here, I mean, it was a neat looking miniature, but then I thought it's such a low stance here. I thought, well, it's going to be hard to maybe get some interesting things going on. And I said, well, if we have it right at the base here, we'll get that light projected up, and then you got something like this. Now it almost looks like a painting, right? We got that flame sort of behind her, and the illuminated column behind her. How much lighter do I want this to be? I'll let that go a little bit more up here with some of the lighter orange. The second to the last one for the year. Well, Dano, yeah, those conference calls, well, actually, I've got to do a video call. Actually, yeah, Dano, I have to do a video call with the archvillain folks there. So I will let you know if anything interesting comes out of that. Still have to figure out, that's supposed to be this week sometime. Haven't actually figured out a specific day for that. All right, that needs to get spread out a little bit more here. We're just using this as a blending brush. Any brush can be a blending brush. Oh, thanks, Dano. It's going to be interesting on the figure that I'm going to be doing the video on tonight. Speaking of the Patreon page, we're going to be finishing this video here. We got object source lighting, but we're not going to be using our fluorescent paints for that, because we're focusing in on the radiant colors. So that's going to be another little interesting lesson to see what can we do with just things like Indian yellow, radiant lemon. Can we make an interesting fiery glow with just that and not have all of the other usual stuff? Because sometimes it's not a bad exercise to take away what you usually use and try something else. Not like you would just never use your normal stuff again. However, when you try something new and a little bit different, it might give you a fresh perspective on what you normally do. And maybe there's you just kind of alter your technique a little bit or the materials you use. You never know what kind of interesting new thing you might learn. That should be an interesting meeting, right, Dano? Like I said, I'll let you know if anything really, truly interesting happens. Of course, I think they said something like, yeah, somewhere between 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I'm like, so yeah, that's another one of those things where I'll just stay up all night, since that's pretty much, yeah. Let's start this meeting right around the time you actually go to sleep. I saw that and I said, oh boy, I get too used to working with folks that are, well, shall we say, in different hemispheres. And I said, oh yeah, okay, that's no problem. You're 4 a.m. That's just breakfast time for us. Yeah, let's keep going with our orange. I don't want to make this too light up here, otherwise, because if this gets too light, well, that just can't be any lighter right there. I can't actually, there's a part of that I'm going to make a little bit darker, ironically enough. Might even sneak a little Terra Rosa into that. But right here around the eye sockets of the skull, yeah, there it was just a kind of a line right there. That's a little better. So your competition, it will be announced in December. So I guess the next question is, are we talking December 1st? Or are we talking like December 10th or something? Because I'm thinking you want to find out sooner rather than later. Oh, actually, Daniel, why don't you throw the links to your the Insta of your entry there of your Knoll, and Grim, if you want to also get the Discord link there into the chat. A place where people can go and talk about oil painting and ask questions, hopefully get some answers. I try to appear in there when I can. It's we have a lot of other social media commitment things to do, so that's why I don't often see everything there right away. Terra Rosa is a sneaky little bugger, and it works so great for so many different things. You can use it for skin tone, for rust, practically everything in between. I mean, I should have remembered from back in the days of oil painting, respect thy neighbor's terra, or no, let's say, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's Terra Rosa. That's it. I think we did put that into the Book of Wappel. I'm fairly certain of that. We will try to make those stickers of the Book of Wappel at some point as soon as I can. All right, what's going on here? Not a whole lot with these things on the arms here. I might also see, do we need to develop anything more on our little kitty over here, our little statue kitty? It's a bit sketchy on the dates, but sooner rather than later. Yeah, I would think, Dano, you don't want to just be, shall we say, waiting on the pins and needles. No siree. Oh, and thanks, Armored Wolf. He has thrown up the link to the Patreon page. So yeah, we're trying to get our pretty much our last video filmed for this month. I try, especially when we don't have disastrous things going on, even when there are, try to have somewhere about 20 hours of new videos every month for especially the Army Painter pledge level. Alright, I think I can throw some of the red over here on these gemstones. Why not? So our latest video that I'm working on, it combines several things, the radiant colors, but also it's a bit of a discussion about reds and different ways to just get more out of red, whether it's lights or darks. How do you make reds lighter without getting things to be just pink? How do you make red lighter without it being just orange? I get that question an awful lot. Now here we're going to try and get some lights on the underside of these stones here. And what we got to do is just put that there. Almost just have to leave it there. I can maybe go after the edges here a little bit. But that's it. No, I don't think I'm going to try. I was thinking for a second that I would add that little light highlight on top of there. But what I am going to do is take a bit of the Fanchon Red. We got it mixed with some Van Dyke Brown. Just darken down the top of that little gemstone right there. Where is my... There's my Indian Yellow. We're going to be doing an awful lot with the Indian Yellow on that Dark Sword figure. Because if we don't have the fluorescent paints at our disposal to do the object source lighting, we need something that's really going to drop down some intensity. Now, we also are not using any cadmium colors either. No cadmium yellow, no cadmium red. Again, it's an experiment. We'll see what the heck happens. One never knows until you do plenty of experimentation. Okay, this thing in here, I'm just going to say that needs to maybe get a little bit of the gold as well. I can actually see the darker color in there, which means it's actually mixing with the paint that's already there, which is just fine. Just fine. Here, look at this. We actually have a little bit, almost like a greenish color here. That's going to go into our... Well, what that people will get the idea that it's gold. It's not going to actually be gold. Well, there's no yellow in it anyways. But their eyes will tell them that it is gold. We just have to, shall we say, trick the eye. It's a little bit of an illusion. Now here on the fur, I've got to decide, do we want to do anything with the fur here to lighten that up? I don't know, that might just be a little bit too much, so I think we'll just leave that alone. Yeah, Happy Heretic, it's been a while. I think the only one that I can specifically remember we were using the cadmium colors on was the Gandalf bust. That's the last time I could definitely 100% say we used the cadmium colors. Otherwise, yeah, well, the cadmium colors, they just take longer to dry than your regular paints, which can leave you with a miniature where, I don't know, 70, 80, 90% of it is dry, and then you got that one part where you had used the cadmium colors, and that still is not dry yet. So that's why I've really been getting into just substituting the Fanchon Red, and apparently lots of other artists do the same exact thing. Yeah, we're talking about just 2D artists, not necessarily us miniature painters. Ah, geez, Dano, that's something that I haven't used in a while. I may have to see what happens when we mix the radiance with cobalt blue. I would be curious at least to see what happens. Couldn't say right now what would end up being the case. Yeah, let's add a little bit more of our light there. That's the asphaltum mixed with some of the radiant violet. I'm going to get some light on the back of the hand here. If I do too much, we're not going to have that illuminated effect. So we have to be sure, don't get too light with that. Do I need to lighten up this edge too? I guess let's find a couple of lighter edges along this too. Yeah, let's even get a little bit of the blue here. Well, indigo mixed with the turquoise. We never did throw the radiant blue back out there. I mean, no big deal. Didn't really need it. Going back to some dark here again. Van Dyke brown, pretty much. Some of the cracks on the stone are pretty deep, so we're going to try and paint in some smaller ones. That's what we did here. Let's check out the... Where's our... There. So on that, we painted up some smaller cracks that weren't necessarily actually sculpted in there, especially since that was an FDM printed piece, and yeah. With all the little rasterization lines, actually was one of the reasons why we did all the little cracks, was to hide that. Yeah, was it though, the hues, that's right, the cadmium red hue. And here's another reason to be doing this extra little crack right there, is that we can highlight the edge of that, and then it's going to look that much more like there's a little bit of an edge to it. Where's my blending brush here? Just needed to, I think, darken that down just a smidge. Here we go. And we'll darken down that edge too. Well, that's all part of this stone right there, all right. So the black spinel really will be handy along this edge. Now, you can, yeah. So we use the black spinel there. That's going to need another coat. That was just, I think, the first coat on there. But it really does, I like it. It's kind of nice having along the edges. On Jack, our Were Jackal, he also has the, it's almost like the black spinel of acrylics. It's this black spinel is well, it's like the blackest black, but it actually has a little bit of color to it. Do we need to darken this down anymore? I don't think so. We've got our lights up there. If I do too much dark along that edge, that's going to start looking like a metallic surf. We don't want that. But sometimes you have to add a little bit of dark to show the light. So it's mostly Van Dyke brown. There's some black spinel in there too. This is also to sharpen up that edge along here. The darker this gets, the lighter the highlight gets on the bottom. We will take our blending brush again. And we'll smooth this out. And it's not this motion, it's just we're doing a little tap, tap, tap here. Look at this. We have Arid Kent Games. Arid Kent, how are you doing? Thank you so much for the raid. I hope that you had a really fun stream. Well, as you can imagine, we're having fun with object source lighting. Huge surprise, right? And thank you so much for that raid. So we're continuing with our Clay Cyanide series of, well, lots of torches, right? Flamey skulls, object source lighting, all the good stuff. So actually, if everyone could please give a Ridekin Games follow, that would be fantastic. And the wife told you to rate. Well, thank you very much. That is appreciated. And, well, hopefully you were able to get some things done on stream. You don't always necessarily accomplish everything you'd like to, but sometimes that's because you're that's because you're just having lots of fun on the stream too. This is another, again, 3D printed figure, of course, and having so much fun with all of our fluorescent homemade oil paints. So Arid Kent Games, again, if you could, Arid Kent Games, please give them a follow. That's the nifty thing about Twitch, right? Building up the whole community. So you can, there we go. You can really see, you know, the light hitting this. But then we've got our cast shadow here, and we've been trying to build up a cast shadow over there. Now we're trying to get some cracks going here. All right, King Games, thank you so much for that follow. Says, hello, little hobbits. I spark my ganja. The Balrog must have set this place on fire too. Holy smokes, he's gonna rip off my arms. I'm out of here. Boy, Gandalf is so afraid of getting his arms ripped off again. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I appreciate the raid. Well, obviously Gandalf appreciates the follows, even though he made a very rapid exit there. Poor Gandalf. They're either bugging him about the ganja, or they're not too happy about his dad jokes. I think Guahir still has. I think there's still a price on his head from Guahir, from all those dad jokes. Hey, Rise of Mages, nice to see you again. So yeah, if you're wondering what are you talking about, having his arms ripped off, this we did this little bust of Gandalf here. We gave him the Moria lighting, but yeah, no arms. Says this is what happens when you take on a Balrog with a glow stick and a kitchen utensil. I suggest something, you know, stronger, like, I don't know, a siege engine or something, because that didn't work so well. Poor old Gandalf there. And if you go back to the, now we've done some, well, we do 2D art painting streams here, usually on Thursdays, so this is where we did our Isengard scene. If you check out the one where it's Gandalf fighting the Balrog, you'll find out why he has no arms. And of course, anytime we show this, oh, speaking of dad jokes here, that means, yo, check this out, man. That's my house. And see this guy right here? Every so often, I give him a ring. Ooh, that was most unfortunate there from even Saruman. You think he's going to let Gandalf just have all the dad jokes to himself? That's not going to be the case. Yeah, especially Bithram when he's writing Shadowfax, he's just that much faster, right? I'm just trying to darken some things down here. Maybe even this side of the leg. The darker that is, the lighter that gets. We might even throw a little bit of dark over here too. And that again is the Van Dyke Brown. So Rise of Mages getting all packed up to move to where it's going to be a little bit chillier. I know for Armored Wolf, it's been nice and chilly up there. It's been in the teens and the single digits. It's been below 0 for quite a while. So yeah, Armored Wolf is just like, I don't want to hear anybody complaining about cold. They have had just a wee bit of a frosty November. All right, so I did throw a little bit lighter golds there on the face. Why not? So it's been a little bit of spicy cold there. Of course, when I was up in Minnesota, there it was. It got down into the single digits up there too. So I would like to let that be as much as in shadow as possible. It's just a little bit of the belt or dress or whatever that is. All right, Eric. All right, Kenwife, thank you so much. Well, lurking is like working because you can be lurking while you're working. Yes, you can. But it's really tough to see how much we can get there. I don't have my little. Oh, I do have one of my little flashlight things here. Hopefully this has enough battery power in it. It sort of does. So yeah, see these little party flashlight things here? We could sort of shine that on here, and yeah, it is. It does. There's some light on the hair. Yeah, so it does. It does reach up to there. Again, these are just little party favor lights. Just got them on Amazon. Pennies on the dollar. So Reno houses are $750K. So Rise of Mages. Are you buying 3 houses then? And then just knock down 2 of them, and then just have your palatial estate be that much more palatial? Because that's what. So yeah, that is only single digits up there for Bitron. I was like, hey, Lady B, geez, how you doing? Nice to see you again. I hope that everything is going well. And I think I did see, I saw an Instagram post that you did the other day. I know you've been trying out a lot of the different textures, right, for basing and such. I think we're all caught up on the chat there. Here, let's get some more of our. I need a little bit more resolution there with that line. So let's take our. Again, that is the asphaltum and a little bit of the Van Dyke brown here. Okay, just to set an edge there. It's one of those things where I had to wait, because if I had done that too soon, well, guess what? Well, we end up with mud, or we end up with no paint there at all. So again, that little bit of combo of the Van Dyke brown and the asphaltum together. I think I'm just gonna draw in that line, because it is a sandal there. I just realized that somehow that all became just one big old shape right there. Okay. All right, Bithron, thanks. I was like, wow, that's awful cold for Bithron up there. So yeah, I think here it's somewhere in the mid-30s as well. I mean, I could be wrong, but I think it's somewhere in the mid-30s. Yeah, definitely. I think there's something in the book. I have to actually kind of go through all those again and just really start to recategorize those. Because I could swear there's a few, there's at least one chapter that talks about hasty little hobbits just end up being muddy little hobbits. Yeah. Hasty hobbits are muddy hobbits. And throw a little edge of gold there. Maybe some more over here. And along the edge of that mask. Boy, Bithron, I was, the last time I was in Alberta, that was a substantial time ago. I know we were talking about the Saddle Dome and when that was built, and, well, that no longer exists, I believe, right? They actually took that, or is the Saddle Dome still there? And yes, I actually did get to see the, Calgary Stampede. As a Boy Scout back, it was the World Jamboree, that's right. All right, now I feel better with a couple little edges on the, well, whatever the bracelet is. So Lady B doing, well, I figured you must have had a lot of basing planned because you sure had a lot of basing products there. So that was, it's always really fun to see people doing basing and enjoying the basing, because it's something that I really love doing myself. So it's still there, but they're still going to take it out. Geez, they only built this thing in the early 80s, right? I mean, I realize that's not exactly yesterday, but geez, is it a capacity thing? It's weird because, I mean, it should be a modern enough stadium that they could, well, somehow do some modifications to that. But gee whiz, yeah, no more Saddle Dome. They were, well, let's just put it this way. I didn't actually get to go inside the Saddle Dome. All right, okay, there we go. See, we got that light on the edge, then it gets darker, and then a little bit of light down there. Again, some reflected. Yeah, geez, I mean, that's not exactly 70 years ago. I guess, well, in Chicago, where stadiums, they stay around for a while, you kind of get used to, well, if that was built there, that's going to stay there for a good 100 years, 120 years. It's the oldest and the smallest in the NHL. Well, I know, well, I'm sure that, well, I guess they call it the United Center now, but I'm sure that's bigger than the Saddle Dome. And it is funny that a stadium built for the Olympics, the team complains that it's too small. Yeah, Bithron, I'm just, now where the heck? I didn't actually think of Calgary as being on a major river or body of water, but apparently it is. I'm thinking that was that one of those 1 in 500-year events that happens every couple of weeks these days? They may need to change their whole thing of the 1 in 500-year floods, which seems to be just kind of all the time now. And I'm going to try and get some lighter highlights on the braids. I don't know if it's necessarily, I guess it's some form of hair. Here, let's do some more on this side now. So again, this is a printed miniature from Clay Cyanide. we'll be working on at least, what, 4 more of these. Well, I don't know if they'll all fit on camera very well. The ones that do, we'll paint on stream. And of course, well, Dano, you saw the, yeah, Dano, one day in a week, the new arch-villain stuff. I'm just wondering if I'll even be able to print up that, well, it's not like a dragon, whatever the really big guy is this month. I don't think I even have a shot. Well, I guess I could reduce the size and print it, but I think I have no shot with just the Sonic Mini 4K of printing that thing at full size. I could be wrong, but something tells me, like the rocks that's on. I mean, it was hard enough dealing with the Lilith just to get it to, yeah, I don't think that's gonna work. There are 2 rivers that go by the ground. The flood was pretty bad. I think about 6 years ago. All right, now here I'm gonna try and make that stuff lighter by making what's around it darker. That's something we talk about all the time. I mean, you can lighten things and highlight stuff, whatever, but sometimes you're just better off making something darker, and then what's around it will be lighter. You can do the opposite too. You want something to look darker, make what's around it be lighter. So Laminess has a solution right there, which is actually a very logical, very, very sane solution. So Laminess, it is a print for paint, a little bit of a, shall we say, a trade, as they might say, those economically inclined folks. Bartering, trading perhaps. Because it would be really fun to, well, actually there's, it would be neat to paint it on stream, but then also paint that sucker as like a 4 or 5 part video. Maybe at least a 4 part video, maybe a 5, depending on, you know, what is needed to get it all done. But that could be very entertaining. Now, what Laminess, that sounds very good to me. That is, well, since it's going to be a while before we get that printer now, just because of, well, circumstances, we'll just have to go with that route. Now, over here, see, that's all just a bunch of light stuff there. It can't just be all that light. And remember, we even did that with the TMM stuff over here. So if we're doing it with the TMM, we darn well better do that with our non-metallic over here. We are going to start, I think, with some Terra Rosa. Mixing that with the Indian yellow. Boy, look at that. That's kind of a fabulous little orange color right there. Kind of an amber. It starts to tint this because it's just yellow right now. Can't just have that yellow there. I think I might also take some of our darker red. We'll mix that with the Terra Rosa. Ah, there we go. That was looking a little bland. For something that's supposed to be gold. I like that a little better. Sure thing, Laminess. Shoot you a message there. Because usually, as far as I know, some, like printing goes ever on, some of the others, you got to wait like 2 weeks. You know, I think it was only a day or 2 ago that I got all the files from the Printing Goes Ever On. I think that Arch-Villain is a little bit quicker, shall we say. I mean, it may not be December 1st, but it certainly won't be December, I don't know, 18th or 19th or 20th, where we'll see the files. Of course, the Walrus guys are very fun, and I know there's one in particular that Kathy wanted to be painting. So that might be fun. So Lady B, we've been painting with the metallic oil paints a ton. We were just doing that yesterday. I spent about 5 hours painting with the metallic oils. Now you can buy metallic oil paints, but they tend to be very inefficient for what we want to do with them, which is why we make them ourselves. That's why we take the Green Stuff World powdered metal pigments like that. We mix it with linseed oil just like we do with our fluorescent stuff. Same thing that we did with these guys to make these guys. And that's what we did. We did a whole bunch of these guys. We have done so many. We've done all of our Gondor guys that way. The metallic oil paints tend to be, well, really expensive and really not effective for miniature painting. So that's why we don't really use those too often. Now we do have the interference colors. That is also metallic oil. So here's our Ossiarch. This is another Patreon video actually from this month right here. So all of that stuff, that is actually metallic paint, all of that. And even, yeah, see there's some more over here. So the, again, taking the interference powders, you can mix that with linseed oil. You can buy interference oil paints. They're going to be pricey. And that's even if you just live here in the US. If you are outside the US, that's, well, that's going to get pricier. Which is why I suggest you just get the interference powders and, well, make them yourself. Hey, Alien Gunship, how you doing? So yeah, we had to deal with the whole clock changing earlier this month. Really wish, I think everybody wishes that would just go away. I mean, if you were just going to make it where the clock falls back every single time, well, that's good. That I can deal with. But that whole spring forward kind of stuff, not really into that. Not so much into the spring forward stuff. That's not my flavor. So I think we've got that relatively softened up there. We might need to do a little bit of a darker line out there. And then we got to figure out, do we need any more really intense lights over here? We do have this crack over here. Let's see if we can do that. And yeah, we needed to... So some really deep crevices that are sculpted into that. Yeah, let's see if we can do a set of smaller cracks like this. It's like what we did on our terrain piece over here. Remember we painted those in. Of course, that was an FDM printed piece, so we were trying to also hide all those layer lines too. And then, of course, we do have some pictures here. I know we've been showing the other miniature, but there is, again, that's the previous Clay Cyanide figure that we did. Oh, and here's another one of our, that's our Archvillain figure. That's, speaking of Archvillain, that's our latest army painting series. That's series 29. Series 29, doing their sort of vampire-ish counts. And then, well, we've been printing out a whole bunch of their, well, their larger lizard man creatures. I'm hoping to maybe be able to print out some of the smaller stuff and maybe use that for an army painting series. Now, Alien Gunship, I know that I think Indiana doesn't do the daylight savings because, well, it's just so close to the central time zone, and you kind of just, it gets caught twixt and tween otherwise. At least I don't think that they do the whole time change thing. All right, I might see if I can get a lighter gold there on the bottom of that. We're using our Brilliant Yellow Pale this time. We've been using a lot of the Radiant Lemon. Now going with some Brilliant Yellow Pale here. Oh, and by the way, this whole thing, start to finish, 2 hours, 49 minutes right now. Or start to where we're at now is at 2 hours, 49 minutes. That's it. This was nothing but primer just well, less than 3 hours ago. Everything you see here has been done within the last 3 hours. So alien gunship. Oh, actually, believe it or not, that this might. Hopefully, this is not too crazy of a question. But what kind of vineyards? Because South Africa, there's a lot of vineyards there, right? It's sort of like like in Australia down by Adelaide and stuff. You sort of have your wine country there, I think it is. So that was just a conversation today of what sort of vintages can we find that come from South Africa? Because Kathy, well, she was doing some Dutch lessons earlier, and she's realized that she's gotten efficient enough with the Dutch to be able to actually understand a little bit of Afrikaner. So that was kind of an interesting thing for her to realize earlier today. Hey Abadu, nice to see you, and Grey Wolf Studio. Yeah, Grey Wolf, I can't imagine for folks that are, they're working here, say in Chicago, but they live in Indiana. And it's like you're crossing time zones as you go back and forth to work. That's no fun. So Lady B says that Stellenbosch would be a vintage from South Africa. Let's see. So Grey Wolf, I just saw there that you're doing the swamp thing with the work. I know that doing those little hobby hangout things, I know that's a lot of work for you to set up, but I know everybody has fun with those. Hopefully the work hasn't been so crazy that it just kind of keeps you from setting up more of those events. I think I want to get, what the heck, I want to get a little bit lighter there on some of these edges if I can. Yeah, let's just do that. A little lighter here along the edges. Boy, I tell you, these streaming on different days is really, speaking of time messing you up and stuff, I was thinking this was Friday, not Monday. Because, well, we streamed on Sunday instead of Saturday. And then with all of the, well, not being able to stream for, well, we missed our usual Friday, Saturday streams, and then the Monday one too. So yeah, Alien Gunship, we're gonna have to start doing some studying, seeing what kind of vintages from South Africa might be available around here. I'm not sure if any of the really good homegrown Australian vintages are available over here or not, or if it's just kind of the most widely distributed, which is not always the best vintage necessarily. Is there an Aussie in the house? There is an Aussie. How you doing? Let me see. 28 Celsius. That's got to be pushing 90 degrees. Maybe 89 degrees or something like that, because I always kind of think of 30 degrees Celsius. Maybe that's 91 degrees. I don't know. Maybe 28 is 90. So Aussie, I hope that you're doing okay. I know that Life, there's been some crazy little curveballs for some of our Australian friends of late. What we're going to do is we're going to take some of that white over there, and that's going to go into our little bit of that asphaltum. I was expecting more of a paw than a hand, but gotta do the same on these fingers over here. Yeah, one of these days it would be really neat if, well, of course that's never going to happen with the War Gods of Aegyptus figures, but it would be nice to be able to print those out. Alright, I gotta lighten up the fingers just a smidge here, but if I lighten them too much, then our object source lighting becomes object source shading. So Lady B, actually I got the container right over here. Let me grab this. So it's from Mona Lisa, just like the thinner right here, but it's the Speedball is the main brand, and Mona Lisa is kind of your sub-brand, and that's our linseed oil right there. And of course, Dano can help you more with if you're looking for, you want to get the stuff that Dano found, because that works. I forget what it was. I know you said what the name was, Dano. I just don't remember. There we go. So that's why we love having our Aussies in the house, because they can make sure that their fellow Aussies can get all the neat stuff. So yeah, that's so it's referred to as boiled. Yeah, there's well, there's refined and unrefined, and I guess the boiled is that is the refined, I think, right? I don't know. Again, I try not to use things too fancy. All right, we're throwing a little bit of the brilliant yellow pale into some of our flames right there. Miss Molly Blanc and a red blend Mary LeBeau and an unwooded Vergilian and a Chardonnay Constantina Utzig Reserve. Those are, well, I would not be opposed to trying all of those medicines, because, you know, we're always looking for new medicines. Now we do have a bit of a new medicinal mix right here of the rum with the cream soda. For, well, again, just strictly reasons. I could see Kathy liking the Sauvignon. I don't know if that's similar to, say, like a Cabernet Sauvignon or something, but because I'm pretty sure she's had, we've had those a few times. And of course, like I said, we don't want to, we don't enjoy the medicine at all. It's just to keep our voice going. So therefore, it's a public service, which is why we feel it's an obligation to find new and fun medicines to help us with that public service. You know, I will actually let a little bit of this lighter kind of orangey coat, and then let's get a little bit more of the Indian yellow in there, shall we? This top edge, I'll just let that be a little lighter here. Not as light as the other one, but and I think we might just need to have a little bit of our orangey light hit this too. So away we go with some Indian yellow into that fluorescent red. And we're just going to try and get this side of the column right here. Mostly just at the base, not all the way up there, but just this one section down here. It's different, but put the same smile on the face. Well, alien gunship, well, that all sounds very fantastic, so some research will have to happen. Because I do believe, I mean, there's some parts of it that climate-wise, landscape, or shall we say geographically, are, well, pretty darn close to what you have in France, maybe even in Greece there. I don't know if it's that right combination of some dryness, but also the warmth. And Dano has for all of the Aussies out there that are looking for that locally sourced Mona Lisa linseed oil, boom, check that out. So craftonline.com/AU. So thanks so much, Dano. I really appreciate you for doing that, because folks really, obviously, they're get a little bit stressed. They would love to have the same stuff. Now, this somehow did not get the brightness that I'd like it to have. I think I was just waiting for that color to set. None of this here is dry. None of this is dry. I could wipe it all away with a sponge right now. Not going to do that, but it would be possible. Oh, here. Oh, nope. Wrong orange. That's the Indian yellow. There's a little smidge of what's left of our fluorescent red together. Oh, I'm going to have to go a little bit lighter there along that edge too. That was a little too much there. Now we've got ourselves a big old line. What we're going to do is we're going to take that darker color. We're just going to push it back. This is the other fun thing about the oils. I can literally just take that color, push it back the other way. It's like, nope, that light color moved too far over. We're going to take the dark color and just going to shove it back over that way. Let's see. What? I have 2 bottles of Witblitz or Moonshine. What's it? I think I've had, Dandelion wine. I've had that once or twice. And then of course Armored Wolf was kind enough over the summer to send some meads this way, so we were able to sample those. Now we're doing a little bit of brushstroke maintenance over here. Now, one of the things that can happen with the digital sculpting, it can get a little bit wonky with cloth. You don't quite have the sort of folds that maybe if you were sculpting it by hand, you can get those sharp, crisp folds. Whereas with the digital sculpting, sometimes it just sort of is like this, where you're just sort of pushing the surface around. Actually, now, Dano, you haven't, have you tried sculpting any cloth yet? Because, I mean, that's hard enough to get used to just with green stuff. I don't know what kind of tools are you using for sculpting cloth when you're digitally sculpting. Is it more just well, like you're literally taking the polygons and bunching them up on top of each other? Boy, Abidu, it's been so long. It was a sweeter wine. Now, of course, I don't know. You could probably have dandelion wines that aren't anywhere near as sweet as that one was. I kind of do enjoy the sweeter wines a little bit more, so I didn't mind that it was a little bit sweeter. I know that Kathy tends to like the drier wines. Now we've got this crack over here. I want to get the highlights on this side of the crack, just like we did again. Check out this from Arm Printer. You can see we didn't just paint the crack in there, we had to highlight one side, right? That's what makes those cracks look like they have actual dimension. There was no actual cracks there. We just painted those in, and we did a little bit of a foolie on the eyes there, and we're gonna have to do the same thing here, trying to do a little bit of a foolie right here on the eyes. And we're just going to take this edge, and we're going to try and there we go. So we're going to highlight this edge here. There's some weird brushes designed for it. Yeah, Dano, as I was printing out those, I think the Mato Riders also, yeah, the Mato Riders, and then the Quetzal Riders from Archvillain, tons of ferns, all kinds, and I was really surprised that they were able to sculpt those on there. I just would have thought they were too fragile, but they did print out. So maybe I'm thinking of it wrong. Maybe it's not as fragile as I thought. Okay, here we're gonna also, this is what we did there. We highlighted that one side there. Yeah, there's the alien gunship. A lot of folks, they just kind of, shall we say, look at me askance just a little bit when I kind of emphasize these sweeter wines a little bit more than the drier wines. I know there is a certain Riesling that is sweeter. That is one that I'm always reaching for, but Kathy wants one that's a little bit more on the crisp side, shall we say. Well, I lighten that up a bit more, maybe even here too. Just kind of stippling that on there, and then we might take our blending brush and blend that out some more. Our edges here too. Yeah, let's do those. Right here on the heel of the sandal, I need to get, I think you can see that. Just that tiny bit of separation from the foot there. Oh boy, we need a whole bunch of light over here. Wow, that's that will also help this again look like the light's sneaking through here, and that's a shadow over there. Then we might, speaking of shadow, we might just have to throw some darker colors back here too. All right, again, just if I hold this straight up and down, again, that's the shadow, or the light sneaking through here. Now that's gonna just see if we can darken that down somewhat. A Riesling Rosenhof, that actually I know she just had, she brought it back from Minnesota with her. Kathy actually had a Riesling with her. That's all going, I'm imagining it was probably, again, more towards the dry side of things. I can't remember which the one Riesling that I liked that was a bit on the sweeter side. So that's a bit of black spin out, little bit of the Van Dyke brown together there. Cannon Cope. Yeah, there's way more Rieslings than I thought there was. I thought there was just Riesling, and then I realized, no, there's more than just Riesling. Or Riesling, I guess maybe that's how I should say it. Now, this right here, that's all just really dark brown. We're going to head over this way and snag some of our asphaltum mix just to get a little bit of the lighter brown fur color here. Yeah, I would be thoroughly in favor of trying all of them. A 3-year-long, not wine tasting, but wine research. a 3-year-long wine research project, trying out a new one every single day, because, that wouldn't lead to anything. I will lighten up that shoulder just a pinch, and then we need some lighter fur color in here too. I need to do that up here too, so we have light, then that's sort of a darker, almost like a border in between, and then we have the one that's not quite so light. It's the radiant violet mixed with some of our asphaltum, which ironically enough is that's our darker skin tone there. So Green Fairy has that will be the news release. I am not an alcoholic. I am just a thoroughly dedicated researcher. I am dedicated to the study of that particular medicine. As we lighten up some of the fur here on the underside of the face. But we can only lighten that up so much, because if we do too much, and we're just going to go with the gold right there. Is it ideal? Not really, but we're just kind of stuck with it. It's the Clay Cyanide figures. They're a little bit more on the stylized side of things, which is not unusual. The vast majority, I mean, geez, probably 90 some odd % of the digital sculpting tends to be a little bit more on that stylized side.